Wyduck welcoming you to Game 2 of this Best of 5 series. This time on Star Station. So in the top left, spawning as the Blue Terran, we've got Mouse Sports, Lucifron. And his opponent, spawning in the bottom left as the Red Zerg, playing for Team Millennium, we have Goswser. And unfortunately for Goswser, he played a very good game in Game 1, but still came out second. And so Lucifron does have a 1-0 advantage in this Best of 5 series, so we'll have to see if Goswser can bounce back and even the series, or if Lucifron is going to take a resounding lead and all the momentum to try and finish off the series. Lucifron is opening up with a barracks first on the high ground. So very common, very safe play. Goswser looks like he's going to be going for 15 hatch. And he's going to be setting out the drone here and putting down a hatchery at his natural. And there it goes. And Lucifron is getting an early refinery, so he might be going for some Reaper harass and scouting, which is never a bad idea. Especially here on Star Station because of the way the spawning locations are. If you do take a look here, there is this little long ledge here, and so it's a lot of territory for players to defend, especially from Reapers. And yes, there will be a reaping coming up. So in the case of Goswser, he's getting his extractor and the spawning pool. If the Reapers want to come up here, they can. If they want to go up the ramp, if they want to come down here, they can jump up. But like I said, it's this little jutting out piece that's the most annoying, because generally Zerg players are not going to have any Zerglings or Queens there. And if they are, they're out of position, because Reapers are faster than Zerglings without speed, and definitely much faster than Queens. So even if Zerg players put creatures here to try and deter Reapers, the Reapers will then have the speed advantage, and so generally they're not going to put units there. And with the first Reaper halfway through the map, he's going to arrive at Goswser's base very soon. Immediately able to spot the natural, and he's just going to waltz up to the ramp. He's not even going to use a jetpack. And immediately Goswser's just going to start Zergling speed, but that's going to take another minute or so before it finishes. So while that's going on, these two Zerglings are basically as good as done. Have to wait until the Queen pops out before there can be an effective defense. And the two Zerglings are defeated. And an eject larvae goes down immediately. That drone only needs one more hit before it goes down, but the Reaper is going to opt to regenerate some life. And good positioning by Goswser and his overlords, able to spot the Reapers easily. But now there's two Reapers against two Queens, and the Queens are out of position. They're off the creep, and now the drones and the Zerglings are heavily prone to Reaper fire. One drone's going to go down. Great control by Lucifron, and the drones are trying to escape. Another drone goes down, and the Reapers are going to jet away. Down they go. And up they come back up again. Is another Zergling going to go down? No. And because Lucifron did not wait, this Reaper's going to have to re-wait another few seconds before his life can regenerate. But Lucifron's being very aggressive here with the Reapers. He's got two Hellions behind us, but Zergling speed is almost done. He has to be very vigilant here, otherwise these Reapers can get picked off by Zerglings. Zerglings do now have speed, and Lucifron can't see that, so now he's going to try and escape. The Zerglings are high on their tail, but they're actually going to take another direction. So very effective harass by Lucifron, destroying 7 units and losing nothing of his own. And these Reapers are still alive, so they can still get some scouting information in. They can do a little bit of damage. And with 4 Hellions out, these 5 Zerglings are just going to become Zerg chicken wings. Stim pack is being researched, and the Reapers are coming by for another run by, but Goswser with his placement of the Overlord, he's able to see it immediately, and with so many Zerglings, these Reapers really have to be wary. They're going to jump back down and jump back up again. And this is the advantage of the Reaper, and look, they're using that little jutting up position, but now they're finally going to decide to lay off for just a little bit. The hatchery is almost morphed into a lair. Neither player is getting upgrades. And they're both on 2 bases. And now with 6 Hellions and 2 Reapers heading in, they won't be able to do too much, as there are 2 evolution chambers here and a spine crawler, not a sunken colony. Wow. I like Starcraft 1 a lot, and I did like the sunken colony a lot as well. But spine crawlers are a little bit cooler since they can move. The Hellions and Reapers are just waiting outside of Goswser's base, and Goswser doesn't have that much to fear. And once again, the Reapers are going to use that little jutting high area to come in here, able to do some damage to the drones. 1 drone is picked off. Another drone's going to go bye-bye, but now these Reapers are totally surrounded. They're finished. And the Reapers were able to spot the Spire as well, so Lucifron knows what's going on. He doesn't see the infestation pit, but he did see the Spire, and now the missile turrets are going to start going up in Lucifron's base because he doesn't have that many Marines yet, and he only has 3 barracks as well. And this is an interesting play. There wasn't that much creep spread, and so Goswser's just using his Overlord to spread some creep just outside his base. So that's very interesting. I haven't seen this sort of action in a very long time. And it's not a bad idea, especially if you have inactive Overlords. And this is one of the weaknesses for the Zerg. If they don't have the creep highway between their natural and their main, then you need something to bridge the gap, and an Overlord pooping on the ground apparently can do that. The Hellions are almost able to take out that Queen. The Queen is in the red. And now with the Mutalisk out, the Hellions are going to have to get out of there. Otherwise, it's just going to be free meal after free meal for these Mutalisks. And finally, Goswser at the 10.5 minute mark is going to start building his 3rd hatchery. And this lone missile turret with these Marines are going to be able to get rid of those Mutalisks from harassing the main. But there are more Mutalisks on the way, and Zerglings and Roaches. +1/+1 is almost finished for Goswser, but almost for Lucifron as well, so there's not going to be an upgrade advantage for either player. And the medevacs are just in the middle of the map, just taking damage from these 2 Mutalisks. 1 Hellion goes down. The Marines are going to stim to finally scare those Mutalisks away. And Lucifron is going to get his 3rd up and running. And very similar to last game, Lucifron is generally having the same amount of bases as Goswser. And as a Zerg player, you always want to have 1 more base than your opponent to be really successful. And Goswser hasn't been able to do that. His 3rd has just finished morphing in, and Lucifron's already mining from his 3rd. So the economic advantage, because of those mules, is going to go to the Terran player. So Lucifron is gonna like this. He doesn't mind being on the same number of bases. So Goswser's is gonna have to do something. He's gonna have to make something happen here. Either take away the economic advantage or build an economic advantage. And currently he's not doing either. We got the Hellions surreptitiously going around the left side of the map, but that Zelnakatar is gonna reveal their little run-by attack. The drones are still going to be under fire here. How many drones is he going to be able to get? He's killed 7 in total in the game, 8. And that's all he's going to get. I think he killed about 4 drones before with the Reapers, so not a lot of drone kills. Probably wasn't worth it. And Lucifron is bunkering up his 3rd a lot, and he's got lots of mines in front as well. And Goswser has a small army here, but it's very interesting. It has no Zerglings, it has no Banelings. In Game 1, he went more of a Zergling, Baneling, Mutalisk style. This time, he's got Infestors, and he's got Hydras. As his Lone Marine's going to stim away. Ah, you can't catch me. I'm a wussy. I'm not going to die. And now with these mines here, these mules are just going to get picked off for nothing. And there is a siege tank in the back as well. And so Goswser does not think it's a wise decision to attack. Probably not a bad idea. But Goswser still does not have his 4th up. And this build style from Lucifron is piquing my curiosity, because not only does he have mines, but he's also constantly producing tanks. He's no longer producing mines. He's just got 2 factories with tech labs pumping out tanks. So this is more of a Wings of Liberty build style. We'll be able to see how successful that is as this 2-2 is complete. Scan goes down in the main, immediately able to see the spine crawler being built, and he'll see that infestation pit, but nothing else is much going on other than the hive is being morphed in. But if you take a look at this, you can follow him on Twitter, Goswser, so I'll let you guys know that if you want to follow him on Twitter. And a huge engagement near the Zelnaga Tower in the north portion of the map. The tanks are holding the position and able to get pot shots on all these roaches and hydras. The Marines are stimming south, and now they're going back. Very peculiar why they were running away and then running forward. The Fungals go down. Huge Fungal down on this army. This Terran army is not going to be able to hold this position. The Hydras are eating away at the tanks, but another group of Marines from the north come in trying to save the day. Some reinforcements from Goswser. The Hydras are coming in with the roaches, and the Infestors are coming back in to maybe put down some more fungal growths. The Marines go down. And the tanks are setting up behind this new battalion of Marines. They're going to stim away. This tank is going into overtime, doing as much work as he can. Another fungal goes down and some infested Terrans. But they're going to get cleaned up. This one last Hydra gets blown up into a wagging tail. I don't know if I want to eat that for dinner. It's got lots of spikes on it. So Lucifron was able to defend that attack. Resources lost are slightly in favor of the Blue Terran. And there is another army that is very close to Lucifron's base. They're just hanging out near the center of the map. Lucifron is going to take his 4th. And once again, he's got his 4th down at the same time as Goswser, and this one stray Marine is able to detect the 4th. And now this is going to be a prime location for an attack. But meanwhile, Goswser is trying to make something happen near that north Zelnaga Tower again. This changeling is going to go bye-bye, as the range of the siege tank is longer than the vision of the changeling before he can morph into a Marine. These mines are going to get picked off. 3-3 is coming into play for Lucifron very soon, and the upgrades are delayed by Goswser again. Last game was the same story. He did not have the hive for a while, and so his upgrades were not on par with Lucifron. So Lucifron will have the upgrade advantage, and here come Enduring Locusts as well. So it's interesting, switching up to Enduring Locusts, and they can be very effective against Terrans. That Marine, wow, look at that green acid. Too bad can't keep the suit either. Could have sold it at the flea market. And Lucifron's 5th is almost coming into play, and this will be the first time in the game at the 19-minute mark that Goswser has one more base than his opponent. And that's not generally a very good sign, but Goswser's hanging in there very well. The scans are going down near the middle of the map, trying to do some cleanup of the creep. And Lucifron is going to pull back. He sees that large contingent of Hydras and Roaches, and now there's a big clump of Locusts. And with the Enduring Locust finish, they're going to be able to reach that army. But remember, they are free in a sense. So even if they are only able to kill one unit, it's better than none, but it doesn't look like they're very effective here. They're able to pick off a couple Marines, but Lucifron doesn't care. He's going to march right in here. There's 3 spine crawlers getting a lot of action. One gets destroyed. The second one's gone. There goes the 3rd as well with all those locusts. The locusts are swarming in here. The roaches are behind. They're not engaging this army yet, but with this considerable range by the siege tanks, it's difficult for the roaches to engage. They have to be very careful. The extractor gets picked off, and now the Marines are just going to focus down on this 4th hatchery. The siege tanks are providing very good cover fire. More and more locusts are coming in, and Lucifron is smartly just sending in small packs of Marines to try and deal with that hatchery. as Goswser does not want to engage this army directly. Every time the roaches try to come in, the siege tanks just do so much splash damage, and so Goswser is going to come and rush in here, and from the left side now, the infestors get blown apart. There's no fungals yet. So many siege tanks are just doing so much damage to the Hydralisks. They're in the back spraying on these Marines, but the Hydralisks are going to pull back now. There's only 2 left. The Bioforce from Lucifron is heavily damaged, and the Medivacs do not have enough energy to really heal them, so this may be a time to exploit this. More and more Locusts are popping out. Lucifron has not gone this hatchery left. There's still 98 life on it, so a few more rounds, and that hatchery will go down, but there's actually a drop in the main base of Goswser, and this very damaged Bioforce is going to waltz in here into the main of Goswser, but these Hydralisks are going to be able to pick off these last few units, and now Lucifron is going to pick up and boost away. And so that engagement was very good in seeing a lot of blood spatter everywhere for both players. And the scan goes down, and now these swarm hosts are under attack. The siege tanks are going to siege up. These roaches are going to have to retreat. The Locusts are going in there, and now the swarm hosts are being pulled back. Considerable damage done by Lucifron, and another drop is going off. Just one lone Marauder harassing the third of Goswser, able to pick off 1 drone, a second one, and now with so many Hydras there, that Medivac and Marauder wish they were never there. The Locusts are coming in here to the center of the map. They're able to do some damage, but nothing considerable. As the Marines and Marauders are being healed up around that South Zelnaga tower, and now there's a big line of siege tanks being sieged here. And even though the Spine Crawlers are being remade at that 4th base of Goswser, it's going to be under intense attack and pressure as these siege tanks are on that high ridge. One tank is going to go down. It had 26 kills, but there's still so many more tanks. Resources are piling up for both players. The Swarm hosts are under attack from this Marine and Marauder squad. A Fungal goes down, only able to catch a handful of Marines. And now Goswser is going to pull in there, but he's going to pull back from all the siege tank fire. And once again, the Locusts are trying to go in there and do everything they can. They're able to get 2 Marines, but these Marines are focusing down on these Swarm hosts. Another Fungal goes down, going to catch a small group of Bio. And just end-to-end action at the same time. There's a movement from Lucifron into the 5th of Goswser, and the 5th hatchery is going to fall again. These Stim Marines have just so much DPS. And now it looks like there's 2 fronts going on, and Goswser is having a difficult time holding off both. His hatchery is lost at the 5th, and at the 4th, it's under extreme duress as the Marines are able to walk in there, focusing down on the Swarm host. There are lots of Corruptors as well, but these siege tanks are just firing unopposed, and now they have +2 attack as well. So it's not just the Bio with 3-3, but the tanks also have +2 weapon upgrades. And now there's only 2 mining bases for Goswser. His natural's almost mined out, so it's basically only 1 base, as his 4th and 5th hatcheries are constantly under heavy bombardment. He's got no minerals. How is he going to rebuild his army as he has a 60 supply disadvantage? And the hatchery goes kablooey again. Goswser trying to get his 5th up, but his 4th was just down. And Lucifron has a stranglehold on this game. 60 supply ahead of Goswser. Goswser is long distance mining. Actually, the Spine Crawler is going to pop from not having any creep for sustenance. The Locusts are going to be able to pick up 1 siege tank for free. Small consolation for constantly losing all your mining hatcheries. And there's just so many tanks in this composition. There's 17 tanks. There's a few Broodlords. But the army supply advantage is definitely in Lucifron's favor. And the tanks are going to siege up here, try to deal with these Locusts. A couple of tanks do go down, but the supplies are maxed immediately. And Lucifron is in between the 2nd and 3rd base of Goswser. Goswser is going to try to do everything that he can. The Corruptors are in there, but Corruptors can only hit the Medivacs, and there's only 2. And now the Brood Lords are trying to get in there. The Marines are able to take off one. The second Brood Lord goes down as well, so no more Brood Lords. And the siege tanks are just going to town on the evolution chambers. There's nothing opposing them. Another Marine and Marauder force on the 5th base of Goswser, and he's going to have to tap out. So once again, Lucifron able to get the victory in Game 2, and now he's up 2-0 in a best-of-5 series. So Goswser is down to basically his last game. He's going to have to win 3 games in a row if he wants to turn this around. So let's tune into Game 3 and see what happens.